Welcome to today's reading. Begin with clearing with the kyanite and selenite to elevate and align the energy centers and the vibration so that only the messages of the highest good may come through and bring about the most healing, facilitate inner peace. Okay, so let's begin. Somewhat of what came through in the pre-meditation was a sense of opinions of others, possibly, not even like current opinions, could be past tapes that are being triggered by current happenings even. Opinions are exactly that, opinions. And it's encouraged to spend some time where you feel the most connected to yourself, where you feel the most at ease, if that's outside in nature, if that's staring at the stars, if that's looking out the window at the sky for 2 seconds in between one errand and the next. Your own opinion is the one that holds the most weight. And to want to feel good does not make you selfish. To be able to take care of you allows you to bring the best you to the table to interact with others. And in that way, it's actually incredibly selfless to take care of yourself. Okay, for the first placement, we have Keeper of Silence. And this is the placement for what's currently on your mind. It's what to share, what not to share. What are you being guided to not necessarily express yet? Thus, the concept of opinion and possible past opinions coming into play because you're not necessarily sharing what you are seeking input on yet. So you're pulling from past experience, past happenings. That makes sense. And, whatever it is with this particular situation, with this placement coming out again today, this color combo in the, plaid is somewhat of a protective pattern with the spiritual history of it, at least. It's of the higher chakras. It's of the connection to your higher self. So this is a space to listen to your higher self, to turn within, to hear your own opinion, to listen to your own higher self's guidance. And higher self is future self. Your future self will give you the best possible advice because your future self is living the result of the advice they give you. That's the way I've come to relate in many ways to the higher self. Okay. So let's see here. And this is for thought. And we have the Hermit. Okay. You have learned quite a bit in your hermit mode. You have discovered some secrets that were once, well, not secrets, they could be truths that were once kind of shrouded from your conscious awareness, and now you know them because you're ready to know them. You've been ready to know them. And the question is, what to share, what not to share, when to share, how to share. There's what do I do with this information? I believe this is 9 and 9. Ooh. I don't know why, but my mind's reading that as a 9. I think it's a 9, but there's a question mark of things not necessarily seeming as they should, but you're not for sure. And there's that if you're kind of in the middle of having this illuminated, this knowledge of yourself illuminated, it's those posters that have the repetitive mathematical patterns, and if you stare at them long enough, you could see an image hidden within it that's, I don't know, like the the Eiffel Tower or something like that. If you stare at it long enough, it begins to kind of, you get to see through it, and it's an illusion. It's not a mirage. It's like the heat waves on a road when it's really, really hot. And it looks like the tar is wavering, but it's the heat wave in the distance, the level of the heat rising off the tar. You're beginning to see the clearer picture of it, the detail, what's beneath the illusion, if you have not already. But that was the way of seeing through it, was to spend some time with it and let your mind kind of relax a little, and it just comes into focus then. Wow, okay, that's intense. So, what does my collective need to know about this information of self that's come to light, or is in the process of being allowed to come to light? What are some synchronicities that are specific for the guidance today? And I can't, like, the other thing that came through in the meditation coming in was that whatever it is that you are desiring to manifest, to co-create here, there are so many timelines, so many choices you can make. The chaos theory, butterfly effect, the multiverse concept that every decision you make creates a different universe where you made that decision. There is, this universe, in other words, is big enough to fulfill every desire that you intend or desire to create, co-create with the divine. So if you're feeling this panic, which I'm definitely getting a note of anxiety, it's possibly something to do with a lot of information, a lot of energy coming in. Exactly. You're tapped in and you're unlocking a higher level of knowledge, a higher vibration, and there's anxiety around that could be possibly mislabeled or miscategorized. So, in tuning into yourself and allowing the illusion to fully snap into sharp focus, you'll be able to understand why this feeling is there. Okay. Actually, we need one more. Yep. Okay. Okay, so you're tapped in. You're listening to both the universe and you're grounded. And your heart, you're protective of it. This is very similar to that very, like, Karana, the Buddhist mudra, which is, one hand open, I'm receptive, I'm compassionate, I'm willing to both give and receive. And then you have the hand up, which is, but I have boundaries. And I will not let these boundaries be crossed. I will protect my peace. Another way of doing that is to have this represent the heart with the hand over the heart. And it's open. Thus you are protecting of it. You have a boundary. My heart is open and I'm willing to give and receive, but I will not allow my boundaries to be violated. So this tells me you are in balance enough to have unlocked this awareness, this knowledge, this illumination, and to yourself and to your gifts or your Akashic record, or you're unlocking something because of this balance you've achieved. And there's a sensation of fear, anxiety. What does this mean? Because it's a higher volume of energy coming in, and that would cause some anxiety if you don't know what it is or why. The human mind may respond with, wait, what is this? So the invitation to spend some time with self will allow you to determine, what of it is yours and what of it is not yours. What of it is just anxiety because of that very reason, or is legitimately something to do with your own heart space. The challenge of placing this heart that possibly has been hurt many times, at least twice, needing to be stitched back together, back into this heart to be able to believe that what you're experiencing is a miracle. That pigs fly. That this is disbelief, this cannot be real. The heart coming back into the being, allowing you to believe that it is. Which then is, what do I share? What don't I share? Do I keep this knowledge to myself as I move forward towards not just 3 wands, but there's a 4th wand here. The movement towards your solid foundation, your wanting to build that home and knowing that you're moving into a co-creation with divine, at least, if not another individual, where you desire to create a home, not just a house, and that requires your contribution to that primary support beam to be solid, to be firm, to be balanced. And this is indicating that it is. You know, whatever it may be, you are to that state where you're willing to believe in miracles, that this is really happening. Okay, we're going to move into what you guys are possibly needing some guidance with the heart space, where your emotions are at, where the feelings are at. And this could be reciprocating back to you. This could be straight from your guardians, your guides, your higher self, future self. I would invite you to interpret most everything that I say from a perspective of self before you begin to contemplate how it is being mirrored back to you in your environment. Because this is very much starting with just what's going on inside of yourself. This is about your willingness to believe that your spiritual experience is a legitimate experience. It's not taboo. It's not a stigma. It's not a mental illness. It's not a delusion. It's real. And it's worth acting towards in this. There's a huge confirmation that's happening internally within you. Nobody else knows about it but you. I invite you to start there first, because then you'll be able to see in clearer focus how it's being mirrored back to you, because you fully looked at what's going on inside, unless you're not getting part of the message here, and thus missing part of the message as it's being mirrored back. Okay, so there's a reason that was coming through. This is the devouring mother, 27, which also breaks to a 9. So we have, which I don't, this could be 11, but my mind is reading it as 9 for that whole like illusionary aspect. So we had 9, 9, 9. So this is the end of some kind of internal karmic lesson. Like, you can be your own karma in this. There's been some kind of a block within you, and you're overcoming that. The devouring mother, this is how a part of us steals our own thunder. Like, we put ourselves down. We self-sabotage. So say you're like trying out for a play and you really want a certain part, and you know, you get there and you're excited and you hope you get picked, and you know, this is more like an elementary vibe, not necessarily like college professional, you know, movie level tryout, but I mean, you could definitely relate to that. But I'm thinking, like, say you want to try to be like Peter Pan or something, and or you want to be Tinkerbell. Either way, you get there and you start to see the other people that are trying out. You're like, oh, she's just so much better at this than me. And you start that narrative. And then before you know it, you've basically let this doubt take all of that confidence from you. And energetically, you've only highlighted how much more confident the other individual trying out for it is, increasing their chances of getting the role. So the eating of our confidence, the consumption of it. Ooh. All right, Queen of Wands. So it's telling me that we're basically giving away our Queen of Wands energy. And it's not necessarily an external force that's causing it. It can definitely be something we've inherited. Meaning, you know, maybe your mom or your dad had some issues with that. Maybe they actually got, you know, some of that issue from their mom or their dad, and so on and so forth. That is the concept of, you know, breaking the generational curse that has been passed down. There's also a wisdom in recognizing that, you know, our ancestors lived in very different times. You know, such as like, did your grandparents grow up during the Great Depression? Were they parenting during the Great Depression? You know, where were your parents born during that time, if they were? That's too much. All right, you want that one? Okay. Okay. So this has to definitely do with your acknowledgement of that. Your acknowledgement that, and feeling like, well, you know, this person is, you know, shorter, smaller than me. You know, she's a little more daintier than me. Why would they choose me to be Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell is supposed to be a tiny little female fairy. Why would they choose the bigger female actor? You know, like that kind of a thing. But you could be more exuberant and fun and maybe sassy, or bring your own uniqueness to it. But because you start that inner dialogue, that inner critic, this is the inner critic. The devouring mother is the inner critic. How do you talk to yourself? How do you nurture your confidence? And it's taking away from your Queen of Wands energy, your desirable, your ability to attract what you wish to manifest. Ooh, okay. So rapid movement forward, possibly communication. So that's the traditional way of interpreting the Eight of Wands. However, here, okay, that totally came out upright. I just happened to touch it just right with my finger. So this could be, you know, a bit of what's transitioning right now. So I'll put this on its side for right now. But it did initially come out upright. So there's been a shift in your awareness that's been very rapid, very quick, and very final. And it has to do with your confidence to jump into the water, to go after that wave and know it's time, and listen to that intuition. Listen to that intuition. The awareness that you choose. Okay, that's why I did that. You can choose to listen to that, not listen to that, to be confident in it or not to be. That you have the power over it. The inner critic does not control you. You control it. Is there anything else we need coming through here, guys, for this placement before we move on to more of what's going on in the physical reality? Oh, okay. Technically, this one fell first. Okay. So you're choosing to own this, to overcome this. You're going, nope. We're not going to let that inner critic rule my life anymore. Nope. I've overcome this. I've realized this. I choose when. I choose to love and nurture myself, to protect myself, to choose what is best for me so that my cup can overflow. So I have excess that's just there, that I can choose, yes, where to direct it, but that it's there. Allowing you to leave more of these little sparkles, these little seeds of light around you wherever you go. And this is definitely being broadcasted out telepathically to your soul family, your soul team, your soul tribe, however you want to label that. The collective attached to your soul that's creating with your soul, that's ascending with you as you make these decisions, that is learning from you and you are learning from them, they know you've made this shift. And I say it's an you sending out because this is the subconscious going deep, deep, deep down. This has been fully realized inside of you because think of it as a flashlight. The flashlight beam expands the further away from the flashlight it gets. So it's the source of the light is deep within here, within you. And it's being broadcast, sent out. And it's affecting, illuminating a larger portion. This is also very muchly thought. There can be specific individuals that it's legitimately a telepathic communication. Some you're maybe just closer to. Maybe they're family, maybe they're friends. Maybe it is a soulmate that you've been able to connect with. Either way, it is soul tribe. Okay. They're aware that you've made this shift, which allows them to make the shift too. To learn from you. If nothing more, to learn from you. Okay, so what do we need to know about the physical here? What do we need to know about the physical? Ooh, okay, that really came right out. 5, the Selkie. 5 is also a card of union within self. So you may be aware of this and the awareness that you are of both worlds, that you are both, well, not even just both worlds. You're aware of your physical, you're aware of your thought and your telepathic and your spiritual and your emotional. You're aware of yourself across all of these different layers, and that you walk within the physical reality as well as the non-physical. That this is real. There's a strong confirmation that this is a reality, that you're experiencing this. That you have shown you can walk both paths simultaneously and be balanced in the physical. All right, what do we need to know here in particular? Ooh. All right, so they don't want it to come out like that. Oh, this is speaking to like, don't be, like there's an excitement within you that wants to know all the detail, every single card. But you're invited to sit with your Queen of Pentacles, your abundance. This Queen of Pentacles, you've inherited both the spiritual awareness, the enlightenment of self in the spiritual aspect. You know, that you can be fully in the emotional other world of being the Selkie, and yet be fully present in the physical with the abundance of Gaia. So you're connected to both, you know, like Father Sky and Mother Earth, to the universe and Gaia. As above, so below. You're the trunk of the tree. You're where the two communicate. You're the channel. And you have unlocked more of an awareness of this, to the point that you're not, you know, you're not a, what do they call it? A 9 of Pentacles. A 9 of Pentacles is the Empress in training. You're now the Queen of Pentacles. So you have unlocked that very crucial status to pull in the abundance because you're connected in this way to both the physical and the non-physical now. You've unlocked this. Okay. So what synchronicities do we have here? Okay, we have a Two of Cups, co-creation, intermingling, mixing. And you want it all. You're not settling for anything less than a balanced, happy, healthy future. You may not know the specifics of exactly how it will come to be about, but you know what you will accept and what you won't. You're not going to accept that, say, one of these 10 of Cups is supposed to be yellow, but it's brown. You want that yellow cup. You want that personal power, that solar plexus chakra cup to be healthy. That's what the balancing of that, of, you know, I kind of get the sense that this mixing here, you're kind of understanding a bit where you're at on both the spiritual and the physical, and the balancing of that, getting the right shade of yellow, the right tint, the right hue, that is being communicated. Yeah. It's a constant state of death and rebirth, or you're constantly upgrading. Every time you find that, you know, something's just not quite in harmony, all right, we gotta let that kind of go to the past. We have to let that go. That particular shade or tint or hue of yellow needs to be, you know, a little brighter or a little darker or have a little more red to it to make it just the right yellow. So you take that cup that wasn't quite the right yellow and you make a new one. And you craft it from hand with clay, and then you put the glaze on it with the changes that you've made, and you fire that, and it comes out, and you're like, all right, that is just the way I want it. So that is the constant trial and error of really what is necessary, needed to make this future a balanced one. And you are co-creating this. If that is, like I said, you know, like I invite you to look at this internally first before you start to kind of understand what it's like externally going to be reflected back to you, mirrored back to you. Your interaction with self, with your personal power, because that's what the yellow cup represents in this particular card. This is the chakra system in card setting. How do you relate to your personal will and how you use it, how you exercise it, how you feel about it in both a receptive way? How are you receptive to your personal willpower being strong and balanced? And then how are you, you know, willing to act with that will? Okay. All right. So this is the final kind of like guidance here that we have. So we have Priestess of Original Innocence. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Oracle. So 26 is 8. And 4 is foundational, intuition. Top, we have the Wonder Hunter. 6. So 6, 4, 8, 5. Interesting. Okay. So I'll leave, put this off to the side down here. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, because technically this one was top. There we go. All right. Want to make that clear. So the Priestess of Original Innocence. This is where that anxiety is. Can you imagine how warm and comforted and safe you would feel with your own personal polar bear bodyguard? Ooh. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. And you have this unique voice with this card. She has the snowflake over her throat chakra. Every single snowflake is unique. And, you know, I can't remember the name of the author, but there was a scientific study and a book written, just, you know, kind of showing examples of how a thought, a word, a concept, a person would be said over water, labeled on the bottle of water, and then they would turn it into snowflake crystals, and the patterns would seemingly reflect a negative versus a positive, with a rather not even visually unappealing crystallization of the snowflake for a negative versus a positive. Was balanced and symmetrical and intricate and beautiful. I think it's, yeah, I'd have to Google it to find it. I can't think of it right now. But the concept of, you know, crystals in relation to emotion, changing the pattern, the crystallization of the snow crystal. So your voice is unique. And not only is it unique, but it is balanced, it is harmonious. And original innocence, like, you do not walk this path or be called to a reading such as this without having had some pretty heavy things happen to you. Because you've had to have pretty heavy things happen to you in order to understand and have empathy, deep empathy. I'm not saying that it makes it okay. I'm not saying it excuses any of the things that happened, because it doesn't. But you get a depth like this as a person because you've experienced deep things. And this is an acknowledgement that in spite of all of that heaviness, you have remained protective of your heart without closing it. You haven't gone to a space of being bitter. You haven't let it tarnish your hope or belief in love. Thus, you haven't let it tarnish or break your trust and your knowledge, your surety that the divine, which is love, is there, that you are never alone. And thus you have remained, thus with this title of priestess, you've remained receptive to the concept that you're not alone, that you walk with the divine, that the divine knows you, that love is real, that you feel it and you walk with it and it is true. And because of this love, this consistency, in spite of all these challenges that you have faced leading up to this journey that you've started to look within, to the point where you're going through this beautiful process within yourself of inheriting more of who you are and what it means and what you're capable of bringing into this world with your voice, with your presence, with your energy, just being here. This could be someone who's so deep in hermit mode that they don't communicate with anyone. They're not close to anyone, but they're having such a huge impact. So this Ten of Pentacles is coming into your reality. The Ten of Cups, because you have gotten to this space, you are also getting this. And with the Wonder Hunter at the top, so this is where you begin at the top of the deck. All the challenges, all the messages, all the lessons, from the top to the bottom, all those new beginnings, to just kind of find the fun in knowing that you are protected, you are safe, you do get to choose what you give to and what you don't. You don't give to this negative voice that makes you feel like you must be small. Because you're not. Even as isolated as you could be in your hermit mode, you are making a huge impact on the world, on the collective consciousness. And from here, you are tapped into yourself. You listen to yourself. Your intuition, your connection to your future self. You listen to the subtleties, to the innocent, to the love, to the divine. And I know that it showed itself, so I'm going to let you see, because right underneath that is the taming of the lion. Your ego. You have tamed that ego so that this lion, your ego, doesn't feel like it's in control. You are consciously in control, allowing the lion to learn from you, to feel like you've got it. You don't need to protect me from everything because I can protect you. There's a lot of symbolism present within the Lion Queen card, which is basically you're receptive to the taming of that ego. The ego likes to be in control. They're like the rebellious teenager who wants to party all night. They're not bad in and of themselves, and they do still need the guiding hand of a parent, a loving parent. So in taming that and being receptive to being that parent, to that inner teenager, you allow that inner teenager to be a teenager, to learn from you. And that was the last step before unlocking this intuition, this connection to the knowledge of yourself. Do we have any final synchronicities here for the collective before we close the reading? Okay. 5 of Swords upright. 4 of Cups upright. And there's the Empress. I was like, are you sure we need another one? I was just thinking that. And then the Empress comes out. So immediately what came to me with these two is your confusion with the illusion, it will only snap more and more into focus. That this concept of being stuck in, what is this? Is this broken heart? Is this my anxiety? That will be lifted off of you. Your confusion will allow you to see clearly. This confusion being lifted around what's being illuminated will allow you to see clearly when you are ready to fully give to yourself and what that means. And once you're ready to fully give to yourself, that will be mirrored back to you because you will be in full Empress mode. You'll find yourself in a state of embodying this Queen of Wands. Your ability to attract that which you manifest will be like it's on steroids. You will attract, like, it's like if you've ever observed this, especially, as a female who's never, like you're young, you're a teenager, or you're an adult female and you've never really experienced what it is to be pregnant. Or, you're a man as well. You're observing this effect in yourself as well as in the men around you. Observing this very beautiful, glowing, pregnant female come into a space like a gas station or the grocery store. Someplace that's rather informal, and just the subtle ways in which people are so considerate, so focused on being like in excitement yet there's a sense of whatever you need. Like, we're going to protect you. Like, we got this. Like, the concept of that level of attraction to you because of your energy will be present even if you are not pregnant, even if you're not a female. That level of focus will be on you because your energy is that, like pregnant with the ability to create whatever you decide to give your focus to. You're like right on that cusp of birthing something amazing. And people can sense it, even if you don't know what that thing is yet. The potential is there. You're embodying that energy. And that is very attractive. And know that this is not an energy that you get through manipulation, through lies, through any kind of negative means. This is something that is gifted to you because you are innocent. In spite of everything, you held on to your purity. You held on to that belief that the divine, that love is real, it's true, it exists. You didn't turn your heart off. And this is the result of that. This is part of your manifesting, is being able to own this, is being gifted this. It's a beautiful reading. So yeah, I definitely have been getting throughout the reading to spend time with this and how it sits within yourself. Fully understand all the ways in which this can come into detail for you throughout this reading. And then as the environment mirrors this back to you, you'll be able to understand more fully what's coming back to you and why. So you'll be missing some of the beauty in these things that come to you, these synchronicities. And remember that others' opinions are exactly that. Their opinion. It is your own opinion of you that matters the most. And have fun. Have fun. Definitely enjoy this process. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste. Oh, I'm being reminded to mention that to please like, share, subscribe, so that these messages can reach more people in the collective that are looking for that synchronization, that little nudge to let them know that they are heard, that their spirit guides, their team, the divine hears them. More people that get exposure to this reading, the more that can kind of help ease some of this dissonance and bring some calm and confidence and peace and spread the love, illuminate more, get more people in that the ray of the flashlight, right? Include more, so they know that this is not where they're at. It's more about the belief that pigs can fly versus it's anxiety, I'm scared, that kind of a thing, to ease some of the suffering without having a synchronicity to validate. Because we're all incredibly intuitive beings, especially if you're called to a reading such as this. But when it's your own life, when it's your own relationships, when it's the people you care about, that you love, there is a reason to an extent why you're not able to see it as clearly. Because you need to be able to live your life without knowing what's going to happen every 2 seconds with those closest to you. You need to be able to fully live your life in the now. So these synchronicities can help calm you when you're used to having that kind of a thing wherever you go with people you're not necessarily close to. Having this little backup here helps you to remain in a state of being receptive. So there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from having this synchronization, this synchronicity, this this God incidents come through for them. So please do like, share, subscribe, so that people can get that comfort, ease that anxiety, and be in a state of receptive to more love and light, thus able to bring more of it and share more of it. Okay, thank you, Spirit, Source Divine, for that. Namaste.